We're now being joined by Alycia Baumgardner, the undisputed champion. You fought in your hometown, had a homecoming, got the dub, the get back against Linardatou in your rematch, man. How good did it feel to get that back and to have that homecoming for yourself?
Yeah, to have that homecoming is a dream for any champion. So to be able to do that, that was amazing. But to have this fight against, the only girl who gave my only loss, to have that as my homecoming fight and beat her, it was everything I imagined it would be. So it was a fun night.
Was there any nerves, any jitters, being that it's like was a homecoming?
No, and there was no nerves, there's no jitters. I literally was the opposite. I'm like, am I supposed to be nervous right now? I'm questioning my own self, but I'm just like, no, this is what peace looks like. This is what, the hard work looks like. This is the fun part. And I really like focused in on that at that time. And it was everything. So no nerves, nothing. It was all peace and about having fun.
That's interesting because you hear so many fighters say like, I don't want to fight my hometown because it's so much pressure and like I end up like not fighting well and everybody's like coming at me at all different directions. But with you, no, like why do you feel like with you it's not the case?
Well, I never even claimed like the bad juju for the homecoming fights because I'm like, no, mine's gonna be fun. It's gonna be everything that I need it to be. And again, I just came in with the attitude that, I worked hard to get to this moment. This is where you put on for your fans, your close friends and family who've traveled, and really embrace it because once it's gone, it's gone. And I literally was just like, wow, can I do it again? So it was.
So are you gonna go back to Detroit? Are you gonna have another fight there?
We could if they allow it. So, I would love to be anywhere, but again, just to have that back here in Detroit, it was a history night for sure.
How would you grade your performance?
I would say it was an A. And I would say it's a slight A because I'm a very hard critic. If I had to give me two different scores, I would say A just for what I was able to do and a B for what I know I'm able to do even further than that. So, I just know my next performance, it just gets better and better. But, I can only take it one fight at a time. And I did a lot in there. And you see the improvement from February to this last weekend. So big difference.
I'm glad you brought that part up because that's actually on my notes. Is I feel you so much more confident, fluid, and comfortable in the ring, and like it shows. It's like so apparently obvious, was obvious in this fight.
Yeah, I tapped into that mental space and, this last camp, it was nothing more than control and being comfortable and knowing what you're doing. Like everything has slowed down for me when I'm in there. And I'm like, this is what it's like to be, at peace and again, be comfortable. So that's what I was able to do. And you saw that in the fight. I was poised, I was comfortable, I was, having fun. And I'm like, these are the fights that's gonna show when we fight someone big, the super fight and apply that same attitude towards those fights.
Yeah, you mentioned that you still feel you could show so much more. Like, what is that? What does that look like?
Domination. Like I can dominate you for 12 rounds, 10 rounds, but my domination in my mind is a little different. And so I know what that is for myself. So when I fight next, that's what people are gonna see. And this is what it just builds the fighter. So can't wait to show people. I know what it is, but I'm like, it's just about applying it and not even saying anything, just doing it.
And being undisputed champion, I would imagine would also do wonders for that, like in terms of like confidence, like knowing like, yo, I'm this, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. With being undisputed, it comes with a lot. But again, I take every fight serious and I don't put too much emphasis because when you start to do that, you kind of get away from that. We train for this. So when it's time to come to fight night, we make sure that we perform and get the win. That's all that matters.
Speaking of that fight as well, I felt like during some points in the fight, if you had more time, if you guys had like the regular 3 minutes, you probably would have ended up stopping her, I feel.
Yeah, I said the same thing. I like the 2 minutes, but where I'm at right now, I can see why that third minute is beneficial because definitely could have gotten her out of there with another minute. And again, it's beautiful boxing, I want to see 3 minutes of myself fight because I just keep getting better. So that is something that I would like.
I would imagine you train 3 minutes, 12 rounds, right? Like in your training sessions, like it's no difference.
We'll start that out in the beginning, but typically we're gonna spar the 2 minutes because
Hmm.
that's what we fight. So it just gets my body accustomed. What is different is I'll do 30-second breaks compared to a minute break. So that's why you saw I stood in the corner because I'm like, I'm not even tired. Screw the seat, I don't need it. Let's go the full 10.
And I love the energy that Tony brings to you in your corner. Like, first off, like Tony, like we need more Tony in boxing and more people like Tony because he's so colorful and he has so much energy and everything like that. But the way he talks to you and interacts to you, I love it. What does that do to you in the corner during a fight?
Yeah, just having him in my corner and having him, know me best and know what works and what doesn't work is the best fighter. So like it's just the energy, like you said, that he brings that just makes it more comfortable. It's just like that in the gym. So we just apply the same thing in the ring. It's nothing different. So there's comfortability there with Tony and I. So that's what makes it work the best. And again, when you're in the ring and you're fighting, it's nothing you don't want to be chaotic in there. So it's fun, it's peaceful.
How are these? Has he ever told you like how nervous he gets for your fights?
Yeah, I'm sure, but he probably won't say that. I think a lot of people do. But as it gets better and as we like climb, it's like there's no need to be nervous. This is like the fun part. It turns more into like, oh, I can't wait to see what you do instead of like, oh, man, you're going back out there again. Like, no, it's just the anticipation though, because there's so much that I can do.
And you yourself, you don't, do you still find yourself getting nervous or anxious, or it's kind of like how you were saying earlier, like you're more like zenned out at this point because of everything that you put together?
Yeah, I would say I've zenned out and I'm like, okay, now I know what that feels like. So again, it's just applying it to the next fight. I just tell myself, you've done the work already. This is what you're supposed to do. You're here for a reason. So when you really tap into that, you really see who you are and how deep it really goes.
How do you tap into that? Like, how long did it take to get to that?
It took a lot. It took the loss. It took um locate different locations. It's like the journey. Like you get it along the way. And right now in my career, that's where I have that at. And I wouldn't want to any I couldn't have it earlier, right? I had to go through a few things. I had to get a loss. I had to fight who I had to fight to get my mind to where it needs to be right now. So I think that that's an important part. So it only gets better.
Yeah, it's this sport requires so much sacrifice and so much, dedication. And it's like sometimes I feel too like how difficult is it for you to like balance like a normal life outside of all this because you guys as boxers are 110% always in the gym training for like a majority of your lives.
Right. It's important to find the balance. I feel like I have more balance when I'm in camp, when I'm training, because all it is boxing. When it's like time to, you're not fighting, it's like, okay, now I gotta work on the things I put off, for 2 months and things like that.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, let me just get back in the ring. I don't want to think about this real life
The
stuff. But
stack of mail that you haven't gotten to.
yeah, so it comes with balance and it comes with learning what works, what doesn't work. And you keep learning about it as you go.
Yeah, it definitely is difficult to get that balance. And I feel like sometimes too, like boxers, like they they struggle sometimes to find a life outside of boxing because it like their identity is so tied to that one thing that they've been doing their whole entire life.
Yeah, it's true. But again, like when you can separate it, know that you're two different people. Like sometimes I have to check myself, like, AB, you're not the fighter right now. Like, just chill, you know, don't even think about it too much. But you do have to find that balance because it is entwined with your life. Like we've been doing this for a long time. You're in camp most of the time. So, but I see it all as a positive. It makes me better outside the ring. So,
How do you I guess relax? Like what do you do when you're not training in boxing?
man, I'm working on my brand, still working. I haven't stopped. The fight was just last week. I'm driving back and forth from the house that I'm working on. So the work is never done. I'm still learning to keep going because boxing doesn't stop, so I can't stop. So, we're just looking forward to the next date so we can plan accordingly.
Yeah, after the fight, you called for a move up in weight. Amanda Serrano, Katie Taylor. You think you're done at this weight, or you think you could kind of like move back up and down for these fights?
Yeah, no, I'll definitely defend my titles at 130, but moving up is an option, so I'm able to do both. And that's what I want to do. I want to fight the champion at 135. I'm a hungry fighter. I'm young. I'm in my prime. I'm only getting better, and I want the champions. I want to continue proving the doubters wrong. It's the best feeling.
How does that look in terms of like the next year? You feel like if you had your choice and if these fights that you wanted could happen, who would they be?
Um, you know, we will have a mandatory soon. So, I would like to get that mandatory out the way. And next year will be the year of superstar fights. And I believe with the right promotion, with the right, backing behind building these fights as super fights for the women, especially at the 130, 135, we can really move the needle even bigger in women's boxing. So I would like next year. I think we don't have to rush it because it's already there and acceptable. Like I think we both will agree on a fight and we can make it happen. But the right promotion needs to be done for those fights.
Stylistically, how do you feel you match up with Amanda or Katie?
Great. I think our styles make fights. I think I will pick Amanda apart. I think I may even drop her. She loves to get hit. She loves it. She'll stay in the inside with you, and I'm a lot stronger. And I see that being a great fight, even as a southpaw, the second southpaw on my resume. Katie Taylor, she's a great, she has great footwork. She's a boxer. I think that would be boxer versus boxer, and out, whose skill is better, technique wise. I'm just the younger bull, as you would say. These girls are, ready to walk out. So I'm ready to stomp all over them and get them out the way and keep it moving.
You're so confident.
I'm hungry. I know what I'm like just able to do and what we've been able to see in this last fight. I said this is perfect. Like these are the fights that build me as a fighter. So again, it only gets better and I want those girls who have the belts.
I think you and Amanda would be a like fight of the year type of fight. Just given like I'm playing the fight in my head, and yeah, you guys would go at it.
Yeah, we would. I think it's a great fight. And again, she's a southpaw. It would show my pedigree of a fighter, fighting a fighter like her. Her style comes forward, throw a lot of punches. So again, I think that'd be a great fight for the sport of boxing.
For you, Alycia, what do you feel is like the hardest part of being a boxer and maybe a nuance being a female in this game?
It's still the hardest is still making sure that your voice is being heard and respected, that women are being paid properly, and we're not still fighting for say slave wages, that we are getting the right promotion just like any male champion. Like there's no difference. And I will continue to be vocal about that because I know that I work hard, my performances show, I can sell tickets, I can do everything. So let's keep moving that needle forward and paying appropriately to the women athletes.
What do you think is needed or can be done?
I think it comes down to now every fighter is different. I can't speak for everybody because unfortunately that's just a sport. But let's still recognize by putting women on a card. There's a lot of women out there. Just put them on the card, put them on the undercard. We make for great fights. And I think when we have have it become a regular thing. It's not going to be like, oh, another girl fight. Like, oh, I'm looking forward to the girl fight because I can go to a boxing show and I know that, I can bring my daughter and she can see somebody fight. It's for everybody to gain from, not to take away. So I think it just builds for something bigger, but we have to lay the foundation. And us women right now are being able to be a part of that movement. Sometimes it's slow, sometimes it's fast, but it's progressing great. So no complaints. It just takes a lot of work.
No, I think you guys are headed in the wrong, the right direction. And certainly you guys have built out the foundation. You guys have exciting fights. You actually fight the fighters that you're supposed to fight. And at the end of the day, because your guys' fights are exciting, people want to see. And I think, a big reason why like the women in the UFC did very well is because they put on exciting fights and people are like, hey, it doesn't matter if it's a man, if it's a woman, if it's an exciting fight, we're going to want to watch. At the end of the day, it's like when we're in high school, like we wanted to watch when there was a fight breaking out, regardless of who was in the fight.
Right, exactly. And I agree. So I think again, just making it a regular thing and just really shining the light on fighters who may not have the money, the promoter, the network. There's great talent out here that hasn't been yet recognized. So let's go out there and be some scouts for the sport. Why not?
And I know you can kind of speak from a place of insight because I feel like you kind of felt that way too, right? Like that you didn't have that shine and you had so much talent and you didn't have like that backing for you.
Yeah, no, didn't have the backing and, we just had to work through those obstacles, but it pays off and it happens. It might just take a little longer, but again, there's talent out there that hasn't been shown. And, for someone to support women's boxing, I want to help those girls because we have some badass women out there and we can make great fights and continue building the sport.
Speaking about the sport of boxing, I just got to get your thoughts. The mega fight that's happening, Errol Spence, Terence Crawford. We've been asking everybody what they think about the fight, but I'm going to ask it in a more nuanced fashion. What do you think is the one thing that's going to separate either Terence or Errol in this fight?
I would say the dog and the they both have the dog in them. They're both hungry fighters. They're both strong. Their resume speak for itself. But at the end of the day, you're facing someone who's just as good as you are. And you really have to dig in those fights and really showcase who's going to be the most dominant fighter. Um, Say it comes to later rounds or even in the beginning to show, dominance. Like I'm dominant. I'm the one that you can't get past this. So that's what for me on that end. That's how I look at it.
And what will you be looking for in those early rounds to kind of see like, oh, okay, this guy got it going now. Like he has the momentum going.
Yeah, I'm just gonna be looking for someone who's gonna apply smart pressure, and be smart in there because again, they're both powerful fighters, but one's gonna be slicker than the other one that night. So we'll see who that is.
Did you by chance see their workouts? Did you pick anything up from those? Can we pick up anything from those?
I say no because I feel like sometimes fighters can bullshit, like pressing around, like and you know what I'm saying? It's all for talk, but at the end of the day, like when it comes to fight night, it's how you perform that night and how you're gonna look that night. That's all we can judge you off of.
Do you ever do that then in your workouts, like at the media workouts?
No, I'm just saying, like, if I wanted to, I could and be like, oh, why did she do that? Like, I'm only doing it because you're here. But it's just, we can't base it off of that for
Hmm.
sure. We can't because everybody's different come fight night.
If I were to give you $1,000 and I said, Alycia, you have to bet either on Spence or Crawford. You can't spend this money either way. Just you have to place a bet. Where would you place that bet on?
I'm gonna bet Crawford.
Oh wow, okay. All right. Crawford, yeah. Uh any particular reason why you're favoring it that way, given that situation?
I just feel like I can relate more as an athlete to Crawford. It's just something that it's personal to me that I feel like I can relate to. So I feel like he's more versatile when it comes to being when you're an athlete and you can be versatile in what you do. And those are great attributes that you can apply in the ring. I do it, and I feel like Terrence does it as well.
So we hope it's a good fight. We hope it's not one that disappoints, which I don't think it will, given the skills of them two. Alycia, at this point, what do you do? Do you relax? Do you go back to training? When do we see you back in the ring?
We want one more fight this year, so let's hope for fall to get back in there. Right now, I'm just gonna continue staying in the gym. Like I run, I'm a gym rat. It's a lifestyle, so just stay in shape until we get that phone call and just continue working on me.
Snacking on any foods?
No, just no weight issues. So I've been eating honestly since the fight, like whatever I want. So
Oh, that's
nothing,
awesome.
vacations.
You're
Yeah,
one of those freak athletes that can eat anything you want, huh?
exactly.
Oh my
Like
God, you're so lucky.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Well, good stuff, Alycia. Hey, thanks for stopping by with us. Really
yeah.
appreciate it. We look forward to your next date. Thank you so much, Alycia.
Thank you.